They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long, where they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Well. If it isn't us again, here we all are, together, observing me play Overwatch, not just horribly, but just, in a way that's so unremarkable that we'd rather all just forget what we're seeing with our eyes right now and listen to my crispy, cream, delicious, not at all nasally, not at all too annoying whatsoever voice talk about in this little series, in this fun time we got going on up in here, American Conservatism. I think this is part 4, maybe part 5. I'm pretty sure it's part 4. And we're going to talk about the American dream in this one, as our good old sensei from the older age, as he has passed away, Mr. George Carlin, has elucidated to us in this previous clip that I've included source below as well, not my credit. The pursuit of the American dream is regularly used to justify volatile conditions in America. All the time. You often hear not just people advocating for anyone to start their business, even though not everyone can actually run a business, but that it's a solution to anyone's problems. Those business ventures, while sometimes protected with loans, are usually only bailed out when those losses can be recovered in other places, i.e. a privilege only afforded to the rich. That's not something that most people can do without significant losses and other issues that may turn up because of that. Excuse me. Most businesses fail several times over, or they get bought out and assimilated by domineering and undiplomatic larger entities seeking acquisition and to neuter competition. Obviously, people do succeed. Obviously, it does happen, but it doesn't happen consistently enough where you can actually justify it as something that's occurring. It happened. In fact, people fail so frequently, not through their own volition, through factors that are out of their control. You can do everything right, and it still not succeed. And I find from not just what I'm explaining, but even things that I'm looking at, that seems to be the case for so many people. You notice too how the American dream is only afforded or offered to American residents. Rarely do you hear Americans truly excited, not just accepting, of immigrants, regardless of where they came from, how they entered the country, right? There's this weird debate here about legally and illegally, right? Coming here illegally as if our American ancestors arrived through the same legal channels that modern-day immigrants have to deal with, or otherwise legally coming through the traditional and cumbersome and lengthy and highly unreliable way of trying to get into the country, which is, legally. Rarely do you see Americans genuinely elated and congratulatory towards any immigrant who succeeds. And God forbid they find out said immigrant had to cut some losses here or there by replacing their favorite, quote unquote American owned. It's a race thing. It's a race and nationality and ethnicity thing. I'll talk more about that in the future too. But even though we're a pretty diverse place, people still, I would argue, mostly white Americans have like a lot of issues with things that are ridiculous. If like a American diner had to go down and some new, ethnic quote unquote, basically non-American like restaurant popped up, I can guarantee you there'd be all kinds of people who would complain. It wouldn't have as high of a chance of succeeding with that chip on its shoulder. And that's just for a business where it starts up, right? God forbid people find out about like the most arbitrary reasons to just discount someone that doesn't look like them from succeeding. I tell you, it's happening all the time. You can't even get restaurants to appreciate their own workers, like looking for better opportunities and just blaming them and saying nobody wants to work anymore. You can't even do that with our own people. It's way worse with people outside the country. Americans love a good old-fashioned feel-good story, but they're not all inclusive with whom they want to succeed. They pick and choose, and people here can get pretty petty with not just these historical issues that we've had for a while, where it's racial, religious, age, gender, the big stuff, right? And behind that, there's even worse things, right? Like the most arbitrary things based on fashion, based on how we talk, how our height, those things too. But just kind of in the bigger scheme of this point here with political concept, right? There seems to be a rather toxic conservative nature to prevent anyone from justifying a more radical empathy for everyone. The American dream is actually quite non-existent when compared to other cousin countries, and you never hear of the Norway dream or the Netherlands dream. Upward mobility is low as ever in the United States, and things need to change. Things are not okay. It's pretty bad here, but I appreciate y'all checking this out again. Here we all are, listening in again. Thank you. It's been your boy. It's been Stalin's leash master here, the one and only, the OG. Hope you're doing well. Take care. Check out my other stuff. Like and subscribe. Make sure to comment. Take it easy. Peace and love. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Peace.